occasionally gets rented out as storage for, I think it's auto dealers store inventory along, in a community. So what was supposed to be a transit-oriented development ends up becoming storage. Keep in mind that we don't have a place to maintain the subway. Your maintenance yard is in where? Arizona or something. But you sort of mean there seems to be this, but it's sacred property if someone parks a car on it. And I'd love to see, I'll just keep planting the seed however I can, but I'd love to see us add $1 there a day, to park the car would be a significant step in the right direction to breaking that. Parking a car is free, but anything else now you're a problem.
Yeah, that's a policy decision by the board.
Right.
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Especially when you see that people use it that aren't using the metro.
Yeah.
Right, and that's just one example, but the same thing's happening along a lot of the transit hubs.
At other places.
They're just great free parking.
Yeah.
Which actually penalizes the rest of the facilities around there. And it has
I would think there'd be several different ways of management for those particular parking lots. Take your fair medium, and
right.
That's the way you get out of the parking lot, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly.
And also,
I think we could do better.
It really has a negative effect on the rest of the. What's the motivation for the facility across the street putting in an expensive parking facility if indeed the metro's just giving it away? Yeah, and so we all end up with surface parking. I'm in Hollywood and Western. So what's the motivation for other people to do the right thing and invest in parking?
That's a good debate to have in front of the proper body.
If we can find that more body for it.
I got a current operating special.
Sure.
I think I know the answer, but oftentimes I would take the blue line and get off the green line, and I'd be waiting there for about 20 minutes. And I think I have an idea of why that happens, but I wonder if you could.
What time?
Late nighttime.
Nighttime?
Yeah, 8 to 9 o'clock.
What we do at nighttime, and I'm sure pretty much everybody knows this who rides at night. Sunday through Thursday we have work windows, and we have to maintain the railroad at some point in time. So we get out there at 9 o'clock and on each of the lines, and we'll be single tracking somewhere on every line Sunday through Thursday nights. So what happens is every now and then there'll be a blue line single track that will coincide with a green line single track that will just kind of foul up the whole schedule. And everything runs on the regular headway. The trouble is the northbound direction on the blue line, the westbound direction on the green line are typically the two that we try to maneuver with.
I'm southbound blue line, westbound green line usually, and that.
Well, the westbound green line would be a problem.
Yeah, I usually.
That would be the one that we move. Because the southbound blue lines are always kept on the same headways, with the exception of our period we're in right now with the Expo construction. Because, see, right now you have a 30-minute service at night. Normally it's 20 minutes. But eventually we're going to get out of this thing in another year or so. Well, maybe sooner than that. And we'll get back to our 20-minute headway.
Well, even before then, though, I always ended up missing the westbound green line.
Well, I'll take a look at that. It shouldn't be like that because we try to split headways on that, so nobody has to wait more than 7 minutes.
All right, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
windy up there.
I do want to mention, since Stephen was talking about parking, in the April newsletter that we handed out, we have an article, and Stephen didn't write it, but it's about parking and parking meters and parking policy. And we do pay attention to that. I think we're going to do something on automated parking in an upcoming issue. And this is important to understand because, Stephen, it makes a lot of sense if you build something that you call a transit-oriented development like W Hotel in Hollywood. Why is the center of the hotel a motor court and it's not safe to walk around the hotel the way it's designed? And you want to get out of the subway, guess what? The nightclub people block you. You can't get out of the subway. A fellow left earlier who couldn't get out of the subway to get to his job because the nightclub people were blocking him off. I mean, it's absurd. I mean, the nightclub ought to be shut down and the subway should be reopened. But these are kind of crazy things. I should mention,
What station is that?
it's the W station, Hollywood and Vine.
It's the Vine station.
So for those that don't know, the group called Neighbors for Smart Rail, which is an anti-rail group, put out a whole bunch of signs. And so what we did is we designed our own sign. We can increase property value with Expo, and we renamed it a Neighbors for Smarter Rail rather than Neighbors for Smart Rail. If you call this phone number, if you can, anybody want to call it, 319-919-0919.
David Goodman.
No, it actually isn't. It's actually a pretty clever number, and you probably did the voiceover. It's very good quality voiceover work. In addition to that sign, we have another sign that says downtown in 30 minutes in Expo. We have another sign that I don't have tonight, to the beach in 15 minutes on Expo. We also have a sign, we proudly support Expo in our city. And the other sign is, let your kids take Expo to school. This is for the folks that think that Light Rail is going to run children over. So, no, I'll pass the signs around. You can pass them around and look. So, are there any more questions for Bruce, because we're getting towards wrap-up time?
Quick question. Late night service on the weekends. You guys have done some temporary ones during holiday times. Were they effective? And I've been caught a couple of times coming from Universal City trying to get up north and missing the last train out of the Gold Line North.
Yep. Yeah, it's tricky. See, we went through a round of cuts a couple of years ago that were to where we had to take 3 Green Line trains and 3 Gold Line trains and 3 Purple Line trains out of service because of just performance issues. Virtually 85% of the passengers in the last hour of service were on the blue and red line. So we lost a lot of our other connectivity when we had to do that. The night service we did run over virtually overnight on Friday night and Saturday nights. Not last Christmas, but the Christmas before last. That was paid for by merchants. We were 100% reimbursed on that operation. That's the way it's right now. That's the way it's got to be right now. We don't have, we have $1 of which we need to spend like $1.50 right now. It's that type of deal, and so we have to go where if we have $1 to spend, we're going to spend it on the most needed dollars right now.
Since we're sort of losing our audience, I want to thank everybody, first of all, for coming. If you didn't get an envelope, I do have a donation envelope for you. But I really think we should give Bruce a hand. I hope we still have the audience here. And I imagine Bruce will hang around if anybody has some personal questions to ask Bruce. And for some people that need some quick tutoring, since we didn't do the whole agenda, if people want to hang around for 5 or 10 minutes, I know that we have to leave at 9 o'clock. Is that correct? At 9? Do we have 9 o'clock? Or? Huh? Well, you're driving, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, well, what time is it now? It's 8:45. 45. All right, well, we'll just cover a few things on our agenda here real quickly, just so people know. First of all, the Metro meeting last week, the 2010-11 budget's coming. It's about $3.6 billion. We've been doing all sorts of things to balance the budget. And some of the things that were happening was that 3 years ago, 2007, a fare increase was put into effect, but it was a 2-step fare increase, one for 2007, one